Architecture of gameplay. This thesis is a reconsideration of Christopher Alexander's A Pattern Language. A pattern language introduces a methodology when he sets up a series of rules in the design process, guiding people to the quality that good architecture used to obtain. Patterns are the structures that describe the ways events happen in space, a limited number of which make up our daily life. A pattern language is made up of patterns derived from the common structure of spaces with the nameless quality, elaborated in his other book Timeless Way of Building, which forms a system as a whole in the right sequence. In a way, word and grammar form a language. Complemented with people's intrinsic perception of order, the combination of these good patterns will ideally turn into good architecture. This thesis, however, considers the design process to be one similar to a game, the significance of which relies on the process rather than the goal, the results, or the rule. Patterns use diagrams and as symbols to communicate knowledge. Games turn results into indexes that reveal the implicit. The aim of the game is to use the design media to design a house for Christopher Alexander, in a site in the Berkeley Hills. Each game player starts with a random prompt card drawn from the card pool and then chooses two more to form a sequence, in a similar way with the sequence of patterns in a pattern language. The prompt cards are composed of an image of an architectural moment, a caption, and a more specific definition of the structure written on the back. Patterns build on hierarchies. Games navigate through interrelations. The first medium serves for designing section conditions. The blocks are designed to be interconnected, forming continuous surfaces and turning angles. The ground condition is ignored in this medium using the sandbox-like beads. Patterns name the boxes we are in and wrap us in their combinations. Games cut the boxes in halves. The second medium serves for designing ground conditions. It derives from the exact shape of the site, keeping the surrounding roads and removing the original ground, replaced by the needles. The blocks of different dimensions are introduced for working out the massing in relation to the ground. The hexagonal shapes for dots or surfaces when placed together, and the rubber bands for boundaries. Patterns attempt to give answers to all the questions on Earth. Games raise new questions, questions that transcend all answers present. The third medium serves for two-dimensional spatial organizations, similar to bubble diagrams. One string is placed in each of the three or more layers of areas with round boundaries, within which the control points on the string is connected to lines. By pulling either end of each line and fixing them on the place with clips, patterns indexing organizational relations are shown on top surface. Patterns seek legibility through the classification of elements shared in common. Games exhibit legibility embedded in the process when players make moves free from the interference of concepts. By setting up the simple rules and those three design media of different levels of depiction, the game cuts off the connection between purpose and method, eliminating the symbolic and iconic mode of communicating design intent. A pure indexical set of installations are made by the players, serving as basis of design. Patterns ask one to fit within, forming a set of compromises. Games provide a set of media. Every move challenges and optimizes. The installation is then turned into design candidates, generated under the negotiation of the bias of the architect and the artistic dimension of architecture. Patterns buy you the right fragrance. Games encounter, like the scents in the air, bringing you back to somewhere so familiar. Depicting the results of the games is the goal of the architect. Architecture is his tool, the autonomy of which gets revealed in the whole of those physical objects. The diagrams are acting as bridges, filtering out distracting information and extracting those fully understood under the context of the design. Patterns tighten the connection between goals and tools. Games defamiliarize this connection and explore the moments we stop being a tool. Moments of cross-programming of the tools, such as combining the section medium and the ground medium, or misuse of the tools, such as using the section medium to make plans, are the moments when the defamiliarization become most distinct. The questions hereby are raised both by the physical barriers and the design intent of the players. Thus, the answers taking form of the game results are, in this sense, more succinct in expression. Patterns are adjectives. Games are verbs. There is no single trace of patterns in the game process, therefore no distraction of language in the architectural results. Every one of them is the crystallization of a series of moments belonging to the interaction of the prompt, the player, and the tools. Patterns urge architecture to be good. Games settle for architecture being true. Architecture of gameplay.